Okay. Hello and welcome everybody. Today, Jocelyn and I are hosting our monthly network call. This is a call where it has a monthly rhythm where we get together and support each other within the Microsolidarity network, and we do our practices, we support each other, we get updates on what's going on in the network, and also it's a great place for practicing facilitation. I've been there, like I remember last December it was my first time facilitating and I was really nervous. I'm much better today, but I'm still also landing from summer camp, so I might be a little wee at some point. And the focus of the day today will be a little bit, we wanted to acknowledge the transition of the rhythm of the time in the year we're at. Here in the north, we're transitioning from summer into autumn, and maybe bring some explorations around that, and yeah, what support do we need for what's coming up in the rhythms of our lives today. And we wanted to invite you into some open space that we'll see, because it's not that many of us, so we might do something different. So we might do improv co-facilitating out loud. So I don't know if there is anything I'm missing from the introduction. I didn't do much about you and me because you all know us, but maybe for the recording, I don't know.
And it's great. Maybe just to mention, I'm really happy that you're co-facilitating this time, Guy. We've worked together a few times. Guy was at summer camp just now as well, and been running the practice programs for the network. And yeah, just actually, Guy, it's special because I think we really met like 1.5 years ago, and we've really seen each other grow through our work together and being part of the network. So I feel like a sort of peer sister likeness in growing together. So it's sweet to be here with you. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's great.
Mm-hmm. And also, this is a good time for welcoming new faces into our network. So we cannot see Alex, but he's a new face. And I don't know if, yeah, if you want to say something about yourself shortly, and yeah, what's up with Microsolidarity for you, and anything you want to share to introduce yourself briefly.
Yeah, thank you. I'd really like to. My name is Alex. I'm 38 years old, and I came into touch with Microsolidarity via my best friend Pietro, who is in contact with Microsolidarity for 1.5 years, I think, something like that. And yeah, my first real contact was now with the summer camp. And it was amazing, and I think it was a life-changing experience. Yeah, not only expanding the possibilities of my friendship to my best friend, but also recognizing myself a bit more and my needs, and also the things in me that also need a bit work. Yeah, and I think the summer camp was the best the best moment, option, and people to have this realization and this progress with.
Woohoo!
Thank you. Welcome to the call.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we want to go into some. I'm gonna put in the chat the tips to how to use the tech on the call, even though we all know this. It's like my mind is going from, oh, we all know it. Oh no, I should stay with the script. Yeah, and yeah, somebody else is coming, Julia. Seems like a party that's starting, but people are still coming in. Yay, hi Julia. Welcome. And yeah, Jocelyn, do you want to say anything else about the introduction or the call before we go into the centering and start the session?
No, I think that's great. Yeah.
Okay, good.
I'm ready.
Okay, so I would like to invite you all to take a moment now to kind of arrive into the session. And as I mentioned before, with Jocelyn, when we got together to prepare this session, arriving from summer camp and really much wanting to share with you all what the experience was, but it feels so fresh, and we wanted to allow time for people to arrive into their homes and yeah, kind of settle with the experience. So we decided that we're gonna share the harvesting from summer camp in our next call. So another thing that was really alive from us now was like, okay, summer camp is over, summer is almost over here in the north, and as we transition into this new rhythm of fall, what's alive in us. So that's our theme for today, and we're gonna do some exploration on that. And to arrive into that, I will invite you to close your eyes for a moment, maybe take a few deep breaths. And as you do, and you start feeling, recognizing how's your body today, how is it, how is, where are your feet, where is it that you're being supported? Is it your feet on the ground? Is it your back on the chair, or your legs? Is it your hands on your legs that are being supported? Where is your weight being held? And is that a comfortable place to be? Explore that a little bit. Or is it there another part of your body that feels good, that feels soft, that feels comfy? And when you find that, see if you can stay there for a minute and appreciate it and enjoy it. And invite that part to be with you through our time together today. And now, if you're feeling more grounded than when you arrived, I will invite you to go a little bit deeper into your sensations and take a moment to remember and seek in your body if there is a memory from this summer in the form of a sensation, a physical sensation. Maybe it's the warmth of the sun on your skin, or maybe it's the taste, the salty taste of the ocean in your mouth, or maybe it's the fresh air from a hike in the mountains, or maybe it's the hug from some loved ones that you got to connect to this summer. And to arrive into the session, I invite you to bring that with you. Where does this summer still live in your body? Slowly invite you back into the room with the rest of us. Thank you for taking the invitation.
Thank you, Guy. I feel more grounded, definitely. I just want to say I'm really excited that Guy's just taking the somatic experiencing course, and I can just feel it in where you bring my attention. I like this final question that you brought, like how does summer still live in your body? And that might mean as sensations. I can still feel the heat and the sweaty mustache. But it also is a sense of where we're at with our projects or our ambition. How does that feel differently now in the summer to winter, and particularly towards the end of summer? I know people might be tuning in, listening to this in the Southern Hemisphere, in which case maybe the prompt would be the other way around. But there is a difference, I feel, in our collective energy. And yeah, from that place, I'd like to invite us into, I think we'll do in groups of 3. So just share, maybe Guy, if you put that in the chat, the question, the prompts. Cool, James, yeah. Yeah. So how is your energy as summer is melting into fall? And maybe you don't feel it's melting into fall yet. Maybe it still feels full summer. That's totally fine. How's your energy at the moment? Where's your excitement? And what are your support needs around whatever that energy is that you're feeling?
Hey, welcome back.
Didzis
is here, and I sent him to the room, to room 2, because I thought James was leaving. I hope they have enough time to share in the group of 4 or 3.5, maybe. Yeah, I'm very curious to hear what happened in there, but instead of doing that, I'm gonna invite you to reflect for a minute based on what you share in the check-in. Is there something that's coming to you as an offer you want to bring into the room, or is there something that's coming in the shape of I need support with this, and this will be a great opportunity to get peer support? So 1 minute to reflect on that, and then we'll decide if we do open space all together, or if we divide into different rooms or something. Improv. 1 minute. Write it down if you want, or think it, or whichever way it's better for you. and gather your thoughts. Thumbs up. So I will invite a super quick round of shares of 30 seconds for pitches, for ideas on what's coming up for you, if you have some. It could be an offer or a request, and from there we'll decide. Who wants to start? Unmute yourself and talk.
I can start. Yay. So I'm very curious about any kind of like experiences. So I've been like shifting from thinking that I have to initiate a lot of connections, from realizing that this is actually not my forte, that I'm more like responding to initiations. And it's like something that I'm like curious, especially like about your experiences, to pick your brain a bit, like what's your best practice on like kind of like not initiating. What would you call this? Kind of the opposite of initiating, kind of like attracting, maybe, being receptive, especially around diets. I guess like I'm okay with like starting bigger groups and stuff like that, but that's kind of my interest. Thank you.
Thanks.
I'll go next, but I'll just say two things. One is I'm very pleased to see you all, and I feel kind of sad that I missed out on the camp. And it's good you're still all here and we're meeting. But I'm also feeling, and I think this summer reflection has helped. I'm feeling so full with life and transition, and my brain just says, not now. So I'm wishing you a very lovely rest of the session, and I'll clock out.
Thanks, Julia.
Oh, can I tell you one important thing? Is the newsletter. I'll just
Please
put
do.
a link in the chat, and we have a Microsolidarity newsletter, and it would be lovely if you want to add anything you want to share with a bigger community, so people who are not in Telegram groups. Then there's a sheet, and it goes out about once a month, and I think we'll do one next week probably. And I'll put it there, and I'll put the link to the Substack if you want to subscribe to it.
Amazing.
Thank you so much, Julia.
Yeah.
Julia's in charge of our newsletter, and it's been amazing.
Got it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Julia.
Nice seeing you. Bye-bye.
Nice seeing you, and bye-bye. Here's one more.
Anybody else?
I had one topic. It doesn't have to be focused on here, but it's interesting just collecting them. Like I was mentioning in my breakout room, like the wish to set up more routine and rhythm for myself. And I would love to start meditation, and I have done a lot of meditation in the past, and now I'm just wanting to like get back into a rhythm with it. And I guess I have a few curiosities around how do you like, I think actually Sina said something around which I really resonated with. I want to create routine, but I get very bored with it at the end, and like how to find a routine and rhythm that even if I get bored with it, it's okay, and how to work with like routine and flow. I think that's really my question.
Cool. Thank you.
Is there anything else?
Yeah, I think I would like support for strengthening those connections I made at the summer camp. And yeah, I think this monthly chat will be a very good way to do it and to feel this community, but also the crews I I will attend. Yeah, but if there are more things I could do, yeah, it's really nice if somebody would tell me. Thank you.
Thanks, Alex. Uta, Didzis, anything you want to bring in?
Yeah, I wrote it down because I'll try to be short. So I started this housing co-op with a few other people, and it's going really well. And people have found a need to create a buddy system to onboard other people. And I'm like, Microsolidarity, we want a crewing system. We don't want a buddy system. We don't want, I mean, we already do diets because most people are in a couple, and I have a now good friend who's in there, and we do this emotional support thing, which is super important. And on the 28th of September, I want to introduce a crewing system for the housing co-op. We're 7 people now, and we will probably be another 10 to 15 people more. And over this month, I would love some support in getting there, like just maybe a thinking partner to bounce things off or something very concrete like that. It's finally happening. I've been in Microsolidarity for ages, and now it's becoming real for me too here in Berlin. And I was just thinking putting something in the newsletter too. So it's great that Julia mentioned that.
That's so exciting, Uta. Cool. Yeah. So support on a crewing system, some kind of like sounding buddy. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, I didn't go into the checking, but I think for myself, what was coming up while I reflected with my part was that yeah, I feel like coming out of summer and into the fall, I really need to focus, and I feel so inspired and so wanting to try and do and learn and experiment. Like there's so many things I want, and I'm guessing in like 3 months I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm doing everything just more or less, and I'm not focusing on anything, and I'm not seeing any progress in any of the fields. And yeah, just how do I converge? Like I feel like I open up so many fields of interest, and now I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna have enough time or enough energy or enough capacity for all of that. So how do you choose? How do I
How did you selective about which focuses, what you focused on?
things? Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in a training for somatic experience. I also wanna, I'm gonna start a crew for a very specific project on translating the practice program into Spanish. I want to start the Barcelona local Microsolidarity community, and I should also work and probably do some physical activities and have fun and have friends. And, like I can keep going, but yeah, like I feel like there is a lot that I want to do this fall.
Nice, thanks, Guy.
Thanks.
That's exciting as well. Microsolidarity Barcelona. Didzis, is there anything you wanted to bring in?
Perhaps. I remember I had a dream last autumn, yes, rather, and maybe even longer before that. I want to create or organize a winter camp up here, and last season I felt that I don't have a lot of capacity for that, and now I'm not sure. But I'm just voicing out what I'm thinking, and maybe there are some people who might be interested, or just to or even discuss the possibility. I have a co-living space here up in the north, rather small, but it can accommodate, I don't know, 6 people, 8 people maybe, and small. It's a crew, probably it's crew. and it's a very, very, very special experience. And to think, I settled here for a long term, but I'm really interested to bring these Microsolidarity practices into my kind of lifestyle, and to bring this kind of connection, knowledge, practices into people I meet who come and go. Some perhaps can come and go again, and that's my just thinking out loud.
Amazing. Incredible. For those of you who don't know,
Yeah.
Didzis is living north of the Arctic Circle, and last
my
year showed
God.
us photos of just the most incredible landscape and lifestyle. That, yeah, it's like pretty exciting, the idea of having a winter camp crew there. Yeah. Wow.
It's
I feel
the place
I'm
is
sorry.
called the last European wilderness. It's the place where there are still growing trees which no one planted. So it's a very protected area, and very remote, and very empty, and very silent. And not now. Now there's a hiking season. There's a lot of hikers coming through this Kungsleden Trail, which is world famous. And but the winter is dead empty, and it's really calm. Apart from dogs, I have also 9 dogs now.
Mm.
Mm.
That's some nice topics we got. I don't think we have time to do them all, Mikey. Extend the session. Maybe we can see what we want to focus on. Like we just choose one. Maybe we can even combine a few.
Yeah, I even see some connections between, the some of the themes that we all brought in here. Like I was seeing how there was something about connections, like attracting connections, but more into the diet, and then Alex more into like the crew and network feel, and then Uta bringing that into somewhere else, so like a congregation or brother. So like this, I can see the scales, and also this is like bringing those practices into something of that you're offering people get into your place. So I don't know, I just feel like there is a thread there.
Yeah, and Guy, you and Didzis were talking a bit about like how to create a bit of a temporary or a permanent node of Microsolidarity where you live, and bringing those practices into local community. That's also really exciting. Does anyone have a proposal of like, let's talk about that thing? I really want to hear about that or get into that one.
Yeah, I kind of heard the sense of like accountability crews or something like this, like especially from what you, Uta, shared. I don't know if that's accurate, or accountability diets or support, or I don't know, mutual care maybe as a bigger topic. That's what I heard. I don't know what others think.
Yeah, I feel like that could be that's kind of like a centralizing theme for us all. Like, how do I a little bit like, how do I bring a crew to the north of Sweden? How do I bring crews into my life in Barcelona? How do I build these crews into my living project? Alex, you just at the summer camp, how do I build a crew around that? Since you've been like, how do I magnetize those crews without having to be like the active involver? It's very interesting. I feel we're circling around that. Let's go there. We've got this 20 past the hour, so we've got 40 minutes. Maybe we can just like noodle around that topic for 25 minutes or so and give ourselves 10 minutes to wrap up at the end. What do you think, Guy?
Sounds good. Do you wanna do triads, or you mean like in here?
Feel we're crew size. Maybe it's enough to keep together.
Cool.
Yeah? I see a nod from Uta. Great.
I like
Cool.
that.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool.
Maybe just start somewhere and see where we roll.
Mm. Yeah.
And,
there's something that was said, I don't know who said, maybe just now, about accountability that stay with me, and it feels like, yeah, I was thinking about your meditation practice, as well as it comes with this peer support that we're trying to also build. Like, it's what we're practicing right now, and what we are finding ways to. I'm thinking those two elements, just like the accountability and the peer support, as a part of, like, making our way into this desires or ideas or inspirations we have, like wishes, right? Like, whether it is to build a community, or to have a daily practice, or to have more connections, whether it's a big amazing project or just like a daily thing, how can we bring others to support us in that, in a regular basis, so that we can achieve, make progress, reflect, enjoy the transformation, or something like that. Yeah. So it's more of a question of how do we do that?
mm. Yeah. I can see we all have maybe different contexts. Maybe there's something context specific around that. Didzis, you want to say something? Just saw you unmute. But yeah. No? Okay, anybody. Floor is open. I had a curiosity maybe around Sinas, like what you shared about how to, like, almost like attract or magnetize the right crew to you. And maybe it relates to, like, Uta, you've been like, people are wanting some kind of system for, like, people integrating into the housing project. How do you get people to find each other well without it being too systematized or mechanical? And yeah, I guess what you mentioned, Sinas, made me think of human design. Like, some people, according to human design, which I'm curious about it without putting it as, like, concrete, but it does say something interesting about, like, some people are better at responding to invitations, and others are more like the people who will, like, just clearly nodal people who easily weave people together. And for example, I see Rich being very easy at like initiating connections between people. And when I try, I'm still getting there, but I find myself much better when I'm, like, invited into something as well. So I'm wondering what helps us to magnetize the right people around us. Is it like a good congregation? Is it going to the right places, or asking someone to, like, introduce you well? It's come up in I remember someone at the summer camp said, like, around dating, I remember who it was, said around dating, like, I'm done with hoping I'll randomly find the right person on a dating app. I'm telling all my friends to look out for the right person for me and hoping they'll introduce me. It's like, can it be like that too? Can we be bold? Yeah. Yeah, the art of introducing our friends to one another. Yeah.
Yeah, I can relate to that a lot. Like asking friends to introduce potential lovers. It's such a like brilliant idea, no? Like to be like kind of like, oh hey, we're like, you know me really well. You know, like we know for a while. We have a very high trust relationship, and then from that on, you have a sense of like what. Oh yeah, this just like a spark. We're like, oh, this person, that would be so cool to meet. And I'm so happy when people like come out and do that. You know, when they're like, hey, we're gonna like you need to meet this person, and then it actually happens, and it's like such a like, oh nice, you know, like, and then you're like, oh yeah, I'm actually excited, we're vibing, you know, there is something. It might not go anywhere, you know, in the end, but it's still kind of nice to know that this person exists, you know, like, and that they're there, you know.
Yeah. I like it. It reminds me of a few people at camp were there because their friends had invited them or their partner had said, like, you should come along to this thing, including you, Alex. I wonder how was that for you? Because Pietro said, hey, come along. How was it to be basically dated into the network by Pietro?
Yeah, knowing Pietro, it was very easy. I mean, I know him for 18 years and he's my best friend, so I'll trust him with his decisions. And yeah, he had to invite me 4 times, like I said at the camp. And he did it via email, so I think 2 or 3 of them I didn't even see. And the last one arrived me at a very good moment. And realizing that this could also be a very good not option, but possibility to hang out with him for a week. Yeah, was a very inviting idea because he's now a nomad and I think we see each other max 3 evenings a year. So yeah, this idea of seeing him a week long with people he trusts made the decision easy. And arriving there and getting greeted, for instance, by you and Guy and all the other people, yeah, made me feel included and safe from the start. Yeah, absolutely. I came there and no, first person I saw was Jesse, and yeah, from then on, it was just easy to get into it. And then seeing all other people, and their behavior to each other. Yeah, so yeah, it was easy coming there and feeling held and safe and trusted and yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, the second degree of trust. Like, I trust you, so I trust the people who you trust. Yeah. That's... Uta, I'm curious if you have any thoughts already about how you might support people to crew up, given I don't know how much experience they have of knowing one another or how much they trust you to know who, like, yeah, how does that
work? How will that even work? I really don't know yet, but what's been happening is that the amazing thing was that almost like Microsolidarity emerged naturally in the group without anyone ever knowing that there was a concept like this. And we're still looking at each other and thinking what a miracle this is. The 7 people who found each other in the first few during the first evening of, there was an information gathering about the housing project, and 6 of us were there. And 1 more person joined later, but it feels like we're brothers and sisters now. This is like barely 8 months later, And there's such a level of trust and such a wanting to hang out with each other. We're not the same ages. This is a multi-generational house. It's with their families, with babies. A couple is right now traveling in France, and we managed to bring them in with Zoom to our meetings. And, like, everybody is trying to make it possible for everybody else to be there. And we want to replicate that out for new members joining the co-op. And also the vibe that we've created among ourselves, we want that to stay intact as people join, and also make sure that they fit the vibe. So the buddy system is also, or whatever we're going to call it, the crewing system is also in order to have an early vibe check with people and really make sure that they get what they're coming into. I mean, we're going to build a house together, and everybody who's on board so far is putting in their life savings plus loans, bank loans. Like, the commitment is huge. It's completely different from a Microsolidarity type commitment. We're going to crew a few times and we're retrospective and then done. No, this is for life. But it can still go through cycles, and it can still go through seasons, and we can still crew for a few times and then change crews. That's the dynamics of the Microsolidarity system, is that you're not in a crew for life. You're in a crew for a certain period, and we'll have probably about 20 people living together, and there'll be more people because we're getting some, how do you call that? Well, it's separate and not relevant to this one. So let's think of 20 people, or 18 or whatever fits with crews, and smallish crews, I would think, crews of 3 maybe. That's my idea. And then to at least start with those. And it's to mix people up among themselves so that the people who are in couples who already have diets for their emotional support can also have an extra crew where each part of the couple is in a different crew. And that is going to be crucial, I think, for the information flow about everything that the housing co-op does. It's already working really well. We're using a sociocracy model. So we're all in circles of, one is the circle of community and one is the circle of housing co-op that sorts out all the technical details, and one is the circle of building and planning. Plus there are cooperative structures that we have to have by law because it's a housing co-op and there are certain rules and regulations. But the information flow among ourselves is working so well because we see each other so often and we talk a lot, and we go from one circle to the next, and then we bring information, and not on purpose. It happens in the check-in. Basically, every check-in is about a 20-minute thing about what did you hear in the other circle. And so there's a natural flow that's really beautiful that I want to turn into, this is who we are and this is how we do things. This is our culture in the housing co-op. And I've already made a proposal for that. But to be concrete about the crewing system is where I'm a bit stuck, because I'm the only person who's ever heard about such a thing. Everything else, people can maybe help each other, or we can all sort of see together that this becomes our culture. But this is the one where I know you guys have the practical experience. Yeah, I do to a degree. But I just need to bring everything down that I've learned about Microsolidarity into this one project, and hope that people will like the ideas and hope that they'll get on board with the sort of making. I think the crucial bit is to make emotional support a thing that people will agree to do with each other, because so far we never talked about this being emotional support. It's been happening, it's been super, super important, but nobody said the word because it's kind of woo-woo, and to make that explicit and say, no, the cruise will be only for that, because we're all going, me too included, We're all going through a process of getting bank loans. Super stressful. The amount of documents they want, you know, the amount of peeking into your bank details and everything they do. It's really stressful. And then you may not get it. And then what? And so on. And the support for that, you know, that's sort of the first step is always the bank loan, and the support during that period will be the basic for the rest of us living together and so on. The hardest part is first. So yeah, that's the not so short about it, but yeah.
No, thanks for the lay of the land. It's really fascinating. I wonder if anyone has any questions for you, or like that are not necessarily just to understand things clearer, but help you see things more clearly. Do you know what I mean? Does anyone have a question like that would open the box a bit more?
What do I see? What do I not see in this, maybe, or what do I need to see? You know, what's the?
Yeah, I have one, and it's more like kind of out of curiosity. I wanted like kind of I'm very curious to hear. Like, I love it that you're like formalizing mutual care and you're putting your values like out there, you know, like that you're like really making it. I'm really curious to hear about like onboarding, kind of like, do you have any, like, especially when it comes to like Microsolidarity and all these different, or sociocracy and all these different like tools and so on, like, you are bringing a lot of this into the group, right? The offerings, but then also others are bringing in, and then you're like kind of deciding this somehow together. Like how does it go? Like, are there new people joining at some point? Like, how are they welcomed into these values? Or like, yeah, that's kind of like my, if you want to like share a bit more about this, but yeah.
Yes, so the interesting bit about this whole project is that we didn't start it. It was started by another co-op that's and basically a project developer, a housing project developer co-op that only seeds projects, that doesn't run the houses themselves. We will let go into our own housing co-op freedom after the house is built, but until then they accompany us. And at first, it seemed a great idea to not only have someone accompany the planning process and the financial process, but also the organizational process, the finding each other process. And we found that actually we're a little better at it than the lady who was given to us as a coach. So, you know, there's more knowledge in our group about how to do these things, and we're putting more energy into it than she does from the outside. And in this process, it's kind of emerged, or has emerged, the will to do it ourselves, like to use the tools that she would have given us or has given us in part, but you know, we've been reading it and then applying it, whereas she was like, I'm going to give you coaching on this, you know, I'm going to kind of come in as a helicopter parent, and it's, the group has basically said no to this. And we're going to see how this lands, because she's also being paid for it by us, supposedly, and we're probably not want to do that. But there's this external entity that we wouldn't exist if they hadn't called us together. So there's this a little bit of a power dynamic going on, but that just to explain that it didn't fully emerge from the group. I joined this housing project because they told us we're going to use sociocracy. It turns out very few of the other people in the co-op know sociocracy. I'm excited. We're, you know, if we find the money, which we're not sure, we will use Lumio to get organized online and so on. You know, like we really want to do this the proper way. But yeah, but I think we're all teachers and we're all learners in this, and we can't have someone coming from the outside and wanting to teach us. But you know, the learning in the process, the learning by doing, is how we want to do that, and that's the values that we already have. This small group of 7 people and 3 kids.
Was that answering your curiosity?
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Guy? Oh, you're muted. Sorry.
question or reflect back to you, because I heard you say that the cruise will be for emotional support, but before I also heard you say it will be to like a kind of a vibe checking for the new people, and also kind of like what I see is like, oh, we built this until now and it's about to change with newcomers, and how do we make sure that the culture we have created together doesn't disappear or dissipate into the new. And I'm curious to hear I mean, I have a few questions around like how do we do that here when we design big events, and what's the proportion, like even for like summer camp last year or this year, where like how, all these questions about like what's the size that you can safely incorporate, and how do you escalate that so that it grows at the speed of trust, like, and how do the crews are the crews can the crews hold those two purposes, like the emotional support and the passing on the vibe, and like I don't have the answers, but like just reflecting back on what I've heard from you, and how you can the only thing that I was thinking was like, oh, so maybe 2 old people to 1 new people at first would be like a good proportion, so like the other people is just like immersed in the dynamic of how do we relate to each other, and then shift again, or maybe form a bigger crew, and then or something like that. But like maybe it's a longer process of getting there. I don't know, and a lot of iteration and reflection on the same process as well, right?
Yes. Excellent questions. It's shaping up as you're speaking on my sheet of paper here. Really good. Also how you brought together what I said before, which was like scattered things in my brain, and now I have it as sort of a list of what could these crews be about, and really good. And 2 old to 1 new is really good advice, and I can just see how that's going to happen. That's exactly how it should be, and it will be possible to do that, because we're like 7 people now, and people will be onboarded in maybe couples or 2 or 3 people at a time, but not all together. Like they won't come in everybody at one time. It's going to be a process, and so 1 can then easily be accommodated into a group of 2 that already exists.
Yeah.
Great.
And also one more thing will be like, what do you need, and how can you lean in the network to go through this as you go through this? And like, is there like a crew calling from the network that can support you in this journey, or peer support, or somehow of like ongoing, because it's not gonna be just now.
No, I was thinking
project,
I was thinking the Discord for starters, but a crew would obviously be much more alive, and not just talking into an empty room. Sometimes it's like that.
Can I just add something there?
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just in terms of crews, because at the summer camp just now, Jessie from the hosting team led a conversation around how to start like residential communities or community projects locally, and maybe there's a bunch of people who attended that, or just in the network, who are doing something similar, like even you, Guy, like how do I set up community in Barcelona? It's not a residential project, but it's still, you're trying to create community, and you're like an initiator who's aware of all these skills, and you want to bring it in while it being sort of in flow with the local context, in flow with where people are at. I just wonder if there's some kind of like really interesting shout out for a crew to form around that.
Mm.
I had a second question or reflection, which is, it sounds like your group's really bonded and there's some things that are working really well. And I just wonder if you sat down to articulate what is it that is our culture that would be that we could embody and replicate or invite people into in these crews. For example, something I really recognize about Microsolidarity is there's this like small things, like when people come into a conversation, we make sure that at least one of us who's talking gives them like a 2-minute or two sentence intro about what we've been talking about to help them arrive in the conversation and be part of it. Like that's like hospitality for us in micro doses. And yeah, recognizing where there's potential for someone to step up and lead and supporting them into that. Like that's something we do. That's part of our culture game. Like what are the kind of games you play and the ways you relate? It might be interesting to articulate that together before you create these crews so that you know what kind of culture you want to embody and pass on. Also just like non-verbally as well. Yeah.
Thanks. Excellent. Yes. Right. Yeah. Micro hospitality.
We've got about 2 minutes left before I suggest we wrap or go into more of a checkout round. Yeah, it'd be interesting to hear if there's anything from those who haven't spoken yet. Maybe Alex or Didzis.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay if there's not.
I'm curious how what we're talking about for Uta's project relates to your project. This is like I don't know, like if yeah, if it's touching any of your curiosities or your questions around what you brought.
Yes, quite a bit. Although it's I feel like I'm more like in this present state with these ideas, and bank loans just scare shit out of me. And
You're not alone.
but yes, I started to reflect about the things that I didn't pay so much attention lately to my relationships with people who are coming through, and their relationship kind of quality dropped. So it's so that's my thinking now. That's reflecting a lot about how I deal with people. Yeah, I have my excuse. Of course, I have a lot of work to do and so on, but that's not excuse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. I'm wondering also like the same question now. How if there is something in the network that can support you through planning this winter retreat and what's that possibility looking. You might or might not.
I wish I had at least one person I can just ping pong the ideas. We don't need even to set the date or to organize this winter, just to explore possibility, and also so I can also to get more into focus on this. Otherwise it just won't happen, because I also last winter I thought that I won't do it alone because it's too hard. And
I wonder if there is an invitation there in the Discord channel, and you may have some volunteers who might be willing to even join you in person. I don't know. I'm just curious.
Sin has also raised the hand. Maybe has something to.
I saw.
Yeah, I'm totally up for helping. That's super up my lane. I live in Helsinki, so You're in Lapland, or?
Yes.
Yeah. I want to go there anyway, like to meet some friends in the winter and stuff like that. So I can help. I'm a good organizer.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So we can get in touch after the call, so exchange the contacts, or just to have another chat and explore the idea, and then maybe to put it more public and let it grow.
Amazing.
I just want to say, as soon as I just saw you doing, I don't know if it's the exact opposite, but I mean, you're reaching out like
Yeah.
into a diet and like, what just happened? Yeah, it made me, I don't know, it touched me watching this interaction. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, super exciting. That was like cherry on the top when something can actually materialize as the next action right here, right now, and finding support ongoingly. And yeah, like there is the Discord channel to put requests into. There's also the newsletter. It's also a great place to do a shout out for, hey, I want to run a crew. I'm looking for people who want to join me about this, or I want a buddy to just ping pong ideas and possibilities with. Yeah, Alex, you were mentioning before you're looking forward to joining some crews. If there's ones that you haven't found people for yet, or you want to invite more people into, you can put all that into the newsletter. Which Julia just put the link to in the chat.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a link again.
Nice.
Also to the crewing program. If you or someone you know might be interested, and that we're trying to define when is it gonna happen. It's like we have two online programs, and one is the Vive program, which is pretty much an introduction to Microsolidarity. And then we have a second one that's a crewing program, which is a more in-depth practicing crewing or getting our crewing muscles ready to go into the world and recruit crews, create crews, crew.
Yeah, that's really like, how do I bring this into my world, into my community? Yeah. We don't know when the next ones will be yet, but we've got an interest form. So the more people we have there, the sooner one will happen. I imagine definitely we have the crewing one before the end of the year, maybe also the vibes one, see how much interest there is. But yeah, thanks for adding those, Guy.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna add the one to join the Discord channel and the calls, so that all the announcements are done out of the way.
Nice. And then maybe we can go into a sort of like a checkout round of how we're feeling leaving the call and what's something we take away. Yeah, we've got about 5 minutes, so it's roughly a minute each or so. Yeah. I welcome anyone to pop and go popcorn style. Pop when you're ready.
Yeah, for me, as my first time here, it felt very welcoming and nice being part of this chat. Although I couldn't participate now really in those community starting ideas, because they are totally new to me, I found it very interesting, all those informations and those trains of thought. Yeah, the winter camp is an awesome idea. I was in Finland in 2012 in February, and the idea of a summer camp with a temperature what did I write? A temperature difference of 80 degrees would be maybe an information for advertising. From 32 in Vienna to minus 48 in Lapland. So yeah, thank you for having me.
Yes, I want to. Yeah, I would just really thank you for. I'm sitting here glowing because I feel so immersed in like so I don't know, so full of bubbly energy and and everything that I was able to bring here, but that I'm taking so much more back, and it will go to the benefit of my co-op, and I'm so happy to be in this network. Yay! Thanks for everything today. It's really good.
Thanks, Vita. I'm also feeling very touched, and it's always the right people who show up at the right time. It's very open space principles. And yeah, I just really love the generative conversation and how there's like even when we had different topics, there was some kind of thread that we managed to find. And I really loved when Guy, you asked like, Didzis, how does this relate to you? Did you get something? And I wasn't sure. You're like, yeah, totally. Like, wow, awesome. And then just, yeah, the sprout of an immediate sort of like support opportunity coming up there is just very, I love the organicness of the call today. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel more grounded, surprisingly, or not. And I'm really not excited. I'm also surprised and happy that I got the response for this winter camp idea, and I'm really looking forward to explore it. And I even feel that it will happen sooner or later. and yeah, I already feel good about it.
Beautiful.
Yeah. That's and yeah, I'm also like bodily preparing for the winter. Actually, this 48 degrees, it's an exaggeration. Although it was 48, it's not normal. Also minus 30 and below, it's rare. Normally, it's about 20. So it's not that crazy and dangerous and so on. So it's it's nice and calm, and it's not crazy.
Just a mere minus 20. So.
Beginner numbers.
Yeah, bringing down the myth.
How about you, Guy or Sinus? You want to share? Oh, I think Sinus may be busy. Guy?
Yeah, I feel moved and surprised, and yeah, I just went through a lot of different moments through the call of like, the nervousness of the beginning, and then the how do we do this if there is so little, so many of us, and then the awe of what was emerging, and of course then we were just already here, and it was just juicy and so I'm really excited. And yeah, as you said, Jocelyn, it's like we're the right people who show up in the right moment, and it's so beautifully true every time. Yeah.
Thanks,
Very
Guy.
thankful.
Yeah, I can say that it was nice, very nice meeting this time, and I got a lot out of it, and feel like inspired. I wrote little kind of notes about all this stuff that you shared. It's very inspiring for making these videos, because now I feel not so lonely with this, because it's always like hard to like work on my own, like I said in the beginning. It's just hard to like go into this like sense of like, okay, I have to do, otherwise it's not moving. So but then I also want to do, but then I also want to do different things. So it's kind of nice to get some energy for that purpose. Thanks so much.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's very satisfying. All right, everyone. It's the top of the hour. And yeah, the next network call will be on the 6th of October. And I imagine that one will be, yeah, as Guy mentioned, it'll be about reflecting on the summer camp in Austria just now. And yeah, I imagine there'll be quite a few people from there. Should be wonderful. I'm really looking forward to that. And so I guess I'll see you there.
Yay.
Until the next time.
Until next time.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for
Bye.
coming.
Good to
Thank
see
you.
you.
So good
Bye.
to
Thanks for
see you all.
facilitating also. Bye.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you.